Judgment Day is upon us. The last second predictions a day before UFC 320 is happening. There they are, okay? You don't have to skip to the end of the video to see them all. I'm just going to always put them in the beginning of the video. You can pause it right now. We start from the top and we go to the bottom. Ankalaev's going to beat Pereira. And I'm thinking it's going to be because Pereira is more aggressive in this fight. And he's going to get caught by Ankalaev's very crisp counter-punching ability. Round 2, TKO. The referee's going to stop the fight. It's not going to be a knockout out cold. I don't think he can... I just don't see that happening. Like, I'm imagining Pereira up against the cage, kind of shelling up, and Ankalaev's just beating him, and then the ref stops it. Herb Dean stops it, whoever's the ref, and that's it. Because if Pereira isn't aggressive, and he fights the same way in the first fight, then okay, it's just going to happen the same way. Ankalaev, that's his fight. Pereira needs to make Ankalaev fight Pereira's fight, and I just don't see that happening. I just don't, man. Ankalaev, he looked... Remember, that first fight was in Ramadan. This isn't. Ankalaev, this is going to be a much better Ankalaev that we're going to see. And it's going to be a performance like, oh my god. Oh shit. He really just did that. He really just made Pereira look like that. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a finish by Ankalaev. And that's it for Pereira. Like, I love Pereira as a champion. I want to see him win. Unfortunately, Magomed Ankalaev just so happens to exist in this division. That's the most unfortunate part about the whole thing. It had to be Ankalaev, because like, Pereira would have knocked out Carlos Ulberg. Pereira would knock out Alexander Rakic. He would knock out Yuri Prohaska a third time. He would beat Roundtree a second time. He would beat these guys. But Ankalaev just so happens to exist. So let's go on to the co-main event. Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. I made a video about this. The only way Corey Sandhagen wins is by a flying knee KO. A fluke KO out of nowhere. And I talked about eating dog shit. Eating my dog's shit if this happened. On stream tomorrow. It's not going to happen. Because that's the only way he's going to win. I see Merab beating Corey Sandhagen. Not by submission. Not by knockout. Like, look. The Sean O'Malley submission was great. But I'm not going to let one submission determine that that's going to happen from here on out. Every fight that Merab has had before then has all been by decision. Except for the Marlon Moraes knockout. He's going to beat Corey Sandhagen by decision 49-46. If not 50-45. I could see Corey winning the first round by leg kicks and by, you know, staying back and defending some takedowns here and there, but he's just going to get swarmed in the later rounds, and I don't see it, man. I don't see Corey Sandhagen inflicting damage with his fists on Merab. I just don't. Similar build to Sean O'Malley, same height, 5'10", 5'11". You're sacrificing all of that muscle mass just to make 135. You're going to get your legs scooped up and you're going to get tossed down. And look, Henry Cejudo was smaller, and that still happened to him, so it's happened to everybody that Merab's faced. Petr Yan, Cejudo, Sean O'Malley, Umar. What makes Corey Sandhagen so different to all those other elite, high-level caliber fighters? Nothing. He beat Figgy because Figgy injured himself before the fight and during the fight, and he did nothing against Umar. He didn't throw shit in that fight. What makes you think that Corey Sandhagen is going to throw shit against Merab? He's going to be feeling the pressure. This is like his first title shot, I think. Or no, he had the Petr Yan. That was an interim belt. Yeah, but this is like his first real thing. He's going to feel all of that pressure. He's going to freeze up just like he did against Umar. Easy title defense for Merab. And I'm excited for this fight even though it is going to be an easy title defense. I'm not eating my dog's shit. No clipping this video. Nobody really watched my videos to begin with, so, you know, I can always backtrack on my word. But, yeah, easy win for Merab. Yuri versus Khalil. I picked Yuri Prohaska. Khalil Roundtree, he does have fast movement. He's got that fast 1-2 that, you know, hit Pereira in that fight. The same 1-2 that knocked out Chris Daukaus with. Remember that one? That knocked down Jamal Hill multiple times. And it could hurt Yuri, but if Yuri comes out with the more improved head movement that he did with Jamal Hill, and he comes into this fight with that head movement, I see him winning. Remember the Johnny Walker fight with Khalil Roundtree? Johnny Walker threw one elbow on Khalil's temple, and it wasn't even super duper hard, and Khalil just died. I could see something similar where Yuri's fighting in the pocket, Khalil's back is up against the cage, and Yuri, because he's so aggressive and, you know, he's moving like this now, he's throwing these big jabs, these big kicks. There's just so much shit that he throws at you. And I could see Khalil is the guy to get knocked out like that. He is. Yuri's only been knocked out by Alex Pereira. He's eaten so many leg kicks from Rakic, so many leg kicks from Pereira. Khalil's got that Muay Thai background, and he is going to be throwing those leg kicks. I don't think they're going to affect Yuri all that much. He's just a marauder. He truly is a marauder. And it's a 3-round fight, right? So, yeah. Yuri's going to be very fast-paced for those 3 rounds. Whereas Khalil in the Jamal Hill fight, that was 5 rounds, and Jamal Hill is just so shit now because of all the injuries. And Khalil looked good, but I don't... Like, if that Khalil shows up for this fight, I think Yuri definitely wins. So that's why I picked Prohaska. Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Zalal. I would love to pick Josh Emmett. I want Josh Emmett to win. I want to see these big, fat, juicy, meaty hooks land on that Moroccan chin. I really do. But it's not going to happen. Josh Emmett is 40 years old in the featherweight division. If I jinx myself again in the year of the fucking unks, I swear to God, because I got so many picks this year wrong based on age. But, you know, these are guys that are like 38, 37. Josh Emmett's 40. I don't see it. 3-round fight, Yusuf Zalal's, it's going to be like the Lerone Murphy fight. Zalal is going to do leg kicks and pick him apart from range, run around the octagon. 30-27, unanimous decision win for Yusuf Zalal. Not super excited for this one. Josh Emmett recently had like a Reddit AMA Q&A thing. The guy is delusional. He genuinely thinks that he's going to become champion again at this age. He would have to start Yusuf Zalal and then like the next 2 guys to get a title shot at featherweight. And at that point, he'll be 42. Fighting up probably... The champion at that point is probably going to be Evloev. Because Volkanovski's... I mean, I don't think Volkanovski's going to be the champion a year from now. I don't. So, Josh Emmett, very delusional. Minus 400 favorite for Zalal. That's why I'm picking him. Abus Magomedov versus Joe Pyfer. Joey Pyfer. I picked Joe Pyfer. Even though there was an aspect of me that wanted to pick Abus Magomedov. Abus Magomedov, I think he's Dagestani, but now fighting out of Germany. Nah, man. Joe Pyfer, he doesn't have cardio problems, unlike Abus. He is an angry, angry man. Look at that face. Look at this man. That is an angry man. Big power shots. I think it's just going to be a round 1 knockout. But Abus, he's got a lot more experience. I can't, after you lose to Sean Strickland like that, I can't take you seriously. He just gave up. He gassed out so bad. And the Dustin Stolfus win was good. And Dustin Stolfus did beat Joe Pyfer, but it was because of an injury when Joe Pyfer got slammed down. We're not going to count that. It's going to be a first-round knockout similar to Marc-Andre Barriault getting knocked out by Joe Pyfer. Abus Magomedov, you're not Kelvin Gastelum. You're not. You're if Joe Pyfer lands those shots that he did against Kelvin Gastelum in the first round, Abus Magomedov is not getting back up. He knocked Kelvin Gastelum like what, 3 times in that fight? In just the first round. Abus isn't getting back up from Joe Pyfer if he gets knocked down. That was the main card. We move on to the prelims. Ateba Gautier versus... Who the fuck is that guy, yeah? Who the fuck is that guy? Tristan Vines. What happened to Ozzy Diaz? It was supposed to be Ozzy Diaz. They get this regional guy, this Val Woodburn guy, out of nowhere. A regional bum. I looked at his record. Very unimpressive performances. Obviously, I'm picking Ateba Gautier. I mean, what? He's like a minus 1,800 favorite. That's what Marab should be. Marab should be a minus 1,800 favorite against Corey Sandhagen. First round knockout for Ateba Gautier. Knocks out Medina, the bummy Bolivian. Knocks out Robert Valentine. This is going to be his 3rd fight in the UFC. He obviously fought in the Contender Series. Knocked out some Japanese guy. He is the can crusher. Middleweight Ngannou, very exciting prospect. Please don't put him up against wrestlers until he is champion or he fights for the title. Please don't do it, because I don't want to see that. He's going to knock out Tristan Vines in the first round. There's nothing else to say for this fight. Daniel Santos versus Ju Sang Yu. I'm picking Daniel Santos. Ju Sang Yu, first fight in the UFC, knocks out Jeka Sarij with the check left hook, I'm pretty sure it was. Jeka Sarij is the worst fighter in that division. Jeka Sarij lost to Anshul Jabli. He lost to Anshul Jabli. Okay? This is the guy that Yu Sang Yu knocked out. I'm not going to take that knockout by face value and say, oh, he can do that to anybody. He can't. Daniel Santos, I don't watch Daniel Santos fight all that much. Brazilian versus Korean, East Asians in general aren't the best when it comes to Brazilians and some of these other fighters, so I think Daniel Santos is a safe pick. The only reason the odds are this close is because a lot of casual bookies looked at that Ju Sang Yu knockout against Jeka Sarij and say, oh, this guy is so good, he's the next Korean Zombie. He's not. Okay, Daniel Santos is going to rain on the parade, and that's going to be it for Ju Sang Yu. What the fuck? Bummy Mix? Patchy Mix is fighting this Jakub Wiklaj. Minus 300 favorite for Patchy Mix. I am picking Patchy Mix. I know he's Polish, and I know Poles are decent, except for Marcin Prachnion, except for Tybura. Tybura fell off. I'm not picking the guy that's Polish. I'm picking Patchy Mix. He had a bad performance against Mario Batista, his first fight in the UFC. He became gun-shy, a larger crowd than what he's used to at Bellator. He just, his eyes were like, I don't know, he looked really bad. But I think he can beat this guy. I mean, Patchy Mix he beat Sergio Pettis, the guy that just knocked out Magomedov Shirapov, or whatever the fuck his name is. So, he was good in then Bellator. He can beat Jakub Wiklab. Jakub is a Bellator tier fighter, okay? Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Muniz. All these fights from here on down, don't really care all that much for. I picked Shabazian. Shabazian, he's got a fucked up rib cage. I hate looking at his body. It looks deformed. It looks like one of those worms from Men in Black. I hate looking at him. He's just one of those bland fighters that, like, I watch his fights, I do. But I can't really remember what happened in them because he's just boring. Like, when does he get knockouts, if ever? Let's look. I remember the Petrovsky fight, unanimous. Oh, he knocked out Budka. Bro, he lost to Mearshart. I forgot about that. He lost to Mearshart. Should I pick Andre Muniz? How the fuck do you lose to Mearshart? You know what? Fuck it. Nah. Fuck it. We're going to Muniz. You don't lose to fucking Mearshart. I'm picking Andre Muniz. How the fuck do you lose to Mearshart? That is horrible. That is atrocious. Andre Muniz is going to beat Edmund Shabazian. Also, Petrovsky just lost to Cam. Whose last name I forgot. The Australian guy. Last week. Cam Nouston or whatever his name. I forgot. The guy that just fought in the Contender Series. So, yeah. Beating Petrovsky by unanimous decision. Who cares? Okay. Soriano versus Veretennikov. This was the only underdog fight that I picked. I picked Veretennikov. But I'm also picking Muniz, who's also an underdog. Veretennikov, his last fight was against that Argentinian guy whose name I forget. Not Pragnio. What was his name? I forget his name. But he looked sloppy in that one. And it was a split decision. I thought the Argentinian guy won. But the judges gave it to Veretennikov. And I did pick Veretennikov. Kazakhstan with the OV at the end of the name. Soriano, look at his face. This looks like the guy who is made to be knocked out. Veretennikov looks like a Giga Chad. Like a Caucasian Giga Chad from Kazakhstan. I'm not picking Soriano. I'm not. Let's look at what else. Let's look at... Okay, the record is not impressive for Veretennikov. Both last fights were wins. Wait, he's from Ukraine? No wonder. No wonder he looks like that. But it says he's from Kazakhstan. Height advantage, reach advantage, leg reach advantage. Come on, man. Come on. Veretennikov's got this. Ukrainsky slava Ukrainie. Okay, we're going with Veretennikov. I don't know why it says he's from Kazakhstan. Maybe he lives there now. Macy Chiasson versus Yana Santos, the wife of Thiago Santos. She looks like an old Baba Yaga babushka who's in her 50s. That's what child rearing does. That's what child rearing does. Macy Chiasson looks, she's got the butch lesbian cut. I pick women fighters based on how big of a lesbian they look like. And that hasn't really failed me yet. Okay, Macy Chiasson with those tattoos on her chest. You know she does mad scissoring. Mad scissoring. Yana Santos, she's not a lesbian. She married Thiago Santos. She had kids. She's not a lesbian, but Macy Chiasson. And look, here's the thing. I don't know if Macy genuinely is lesbian, but she looks like it. And so that's why I'm picking Macy. Chris Gutierrez versus Farid Basharat, who is a minus 455 favorite, who is, I believe, undefeated, if not undefeated in the UFC, unlike his brother, who gets starched out by Ricky Simone. I'm picking Farid Basharat, Chris Gutierrez, mediocre fighter, and then Ramiz Brahimaj versus Austin Vanderford, and Veronica Hardy against Broken Walker. I picked Vanderford, and I picked Hardy. Now, I know, look, let's talk about Hardy. Hardy is probably one of the hottest female fighters right now in the whole sport. I think the hottest. Not a lot of degenerate tattoos, beautiful eyes, beautiful bone structure and jawline. I don't even know who Brogan Walker is. She looks musty. She looks like she doesn't wash her vag. That is what Brogan Walker looks like. Brogan. A name of a man. Brogan Walker. Imagine you have a daughter and you name her Brogan. Come on. And then Vanderford. Brahimaj sounds like an Indian name. And I know he doesn't look super Indian. He looks Caucasian. But maybe he's like half Indian. Brahimaj. Let me see where he's from. Does it say where he's from? Welterweight. No. Where was he born? Because it says you're American, but are you actually... He's Albanian. Fuck no. I'm not picking a fucking Albanian. There's no fucking way I'm picking Albania. Austin Vanderford, minus 300 favorite. He's going to knock out this Albanian guy in the first round, okay? And that's it. We've got our picks. Hardy, Vanderford, Veretennikov, Pachimix, Chiasson, Santos, Basharat, Muniz, Gautier, Pfeiffer, Zalal, Prohaska, Dvalishvili, Ankalaev. These fights aren't in order compared to this because I use Tapology, so it's okay. Which fights am I nervous about? I mean, obviously Veretennikov and now Muniz because those are the underdogs, but other than that, I'm not really worried for Pfeiffer. I could see a Hail Mary shot from Josh Emmett landing on the chin for Yusuf Zalal. I would love that, by the way. I don't care for getting Yusuf Zalal wrong. If Yusuf Zalal has a red name, seeing him spaz out and have seizures similar to Bryce Mitchell, I would love that. I would love that so very much. I am worried about Prohaska. I could see Prohaska getting caught as he's coming in, being very aggressive. I could see him getting caught by a big left hook. Similar to Greg Hardy versus Tai Tuivasa, where Greg Hardy, he hurt Tai and he wobbled him and he got complacent and he came crashing in, and Tai sat on his punch with a big fat left hook that just dropped him on his ass. I could see something similar, where Yuri, he hurts Khalil and Khalil's backing up, but he sits on his punches and he's a big puncher and he just drops Prohaska and then finishes him with the ground and pound. I could see something like that happen. Dvalishvili, not worried for him at all. Ankalaev, I want Pereira to win, so I'm not going to be worried for Ankalaev, but I see Ankalaev beating Pereira. Round 2 knockout. Round 2 TKO. Lock of the night is definitely Ateba Gautier, for sure. Ateba Gautier is lock of the night. And yeah, that's all I've got for this video. Tune to my stream tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming probably, let's see. Like, I'm definitely going to stream every single fight in the main card for sure, but I'm just looking like either Pachimix, Santos, or Gautier. I'm definitely not missing Gautier, so I'll be streaming them for sure. I don't know. I'll probably start around Pachimix or Daniel Santos. So, yeah. Tune in for the stream. Subscribe to my channel, motherfuckers. Subscribe right now. See you then, and peace out.